All right, so just a couple of thoughts on an exercise that I've seen a lot of misconceptions with regards to how it's performed. It's a very basic exercise, a single arm dumbbell row. A lot of bodybuilders will use it to develop their upper back. A lot of strength coaches will use it for their clients to develop shoulder retraction strength or to develop the upper back muscles in general. So the thing about that exercise is the force angle and how to use it and what muscle groups to actually use it for. Personally, I believe that it's not the greatest exercise to hit the retractors of the shoulder. Okay? This is the way that a lot of people will coach this exercise. They'll get set up like this, so everything looks good, their back is flat. They set up with the bar or with the dumbbell, and they'll pull straight up and down. They'll even set their shoulder first and pull straight up and down. Now, the reason why there's a problem with that is because of the fact that the force angle is not really conducive to what muscles we're trying to hit here. There are better options for retraction strength of the shoulder blades. There's better options like horizontal pulling exercises instead of pulling from above. Even a bent over barbell row is a better example because of the point of contact the bar is going to make it to on the torso. This single dumbbell on a one-side unilateral movement like this is not going to hit the retractors quite as effectively, in my opinion, especially with the grip style, as those other variations I just mentioned. I like to treat it as a lat exercise, and I'm sure that a lot of bodybuilders or bodybuilding coaches will see where I'm going with this when I say that, because using it as a lat exercise allows you to have better control of the shoulder blade and follow the path of the lat fibers as you're going through the motion. The lat fibers don't travel like this, and they don't travel like this. They travel on a little bit of a slanted pattern, and they attach all the way up into your upper arm. So with that said, there's got to be a little bit of a sweeping action with your arm, where your hand isn't just following a straight line in any certain plane, but it's following more of a C motion or a J motion. So your elbow is going to correspond to that, and the dumbbell is going to correspond to that too. So when I do it again with the proper technique, in my opinion, it's going to look a little bit different. I like to set up by sticking my butt out, squeezing the chest out, of course, and starting with a little bit of a forward top rock in order to make that dumbbell travel in the right direction. Okay? So instead of traveling right down here, I'll start right in here. That's what the movement's going to look like, a little bit more similar to that. And immediately when I did that, I feel a lot more of my lat activation, which is what I'm going for this exercise. Not focused on the rear deltoid and the rhombus and the scapular muscles way up higher on the back, the lower traps. They leave that for other exercises. Using your lats for the one-arm dumbbell row is your best bet to get the most bang for your buck out of that exercise particularly. And speaking to the bodybuilders again and the people who are into hypertrophy training, that's what popularizes the decline. You have a bench that's like this, and you set up the same way where you're on a downward slope. If you think about the angles you're creating that way, where your butt is higher than your chest is and higher than your shoulder, and you're pulling on that saw action on that slant, if you think about if you were to turn that upside down, it's exactly the same position you get into when you do a lat pull down. Exactly the same position. You lean back ever so slightly, you set up with your hands in whatever grip you want, and you pull to that spot, because that's the most effective way to hit your lats. There's even exercises like a decline pullover, which simulate the same pattern again, just from a different point of reference. So, when it comes to the single arm dumbbell row, don't treat it like a scapular retraction exercise. Don't treat it like an exercise to work all those high upper back muscles. Instead, use it to hit your lats, the upper lats and the mid lats, and that's the best way to get the most bang for your buck. So that's what my thoughts are on the single arm dumbbell row, and that's it.